Have you ever wondered how a marathon runner balances training, travel, and unexpected bathroom breaks? Today, I'm sharing the highs, lows, and everything in between from week 5 of marathon training. Welcome to PKS Runs. Welcome back to PKS Runs. I'm Paul and I'm a sub 3 hour marathoner aiming to run a personal best at the Morecombe Marathon on the 29th of September so that I can get a good for age qualifying time for the London Marathon 2025. My current PB stands at 2:59 and 17 seconds and I'm aiming to take a full 4 minutes and 17 seconds off this to come home with a time of 2:55. I have no idea if this is possible, and given that I lost 10 weeks of running due to a stress fracture in my foot back in March, I am certainly battling the odds. I'm into week 5 of my official marathon training block, and with 10 weeks until the big day, it's all go here at base camp. Each week, I'm reviewing my training, taking an honest look at what's working and what's not, and giving you the inside scoop of what it's like to train for a marathon. This week, my mileage target is 55 miles, and in this video we'll find out if I can achieve that for the 3rd week on the trot. But before we get started on this video, if you enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you never miss a video, and also leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you. Tell me what you're training for and what your weekly training schedule looks like. You can also follow me on Instagram and on Strava at PKS Runs. Now, let's talk about the week. If you watched last week's video, you'll know that I was in Rome for 4 nights to watch Coldplay with Laura. And following a full-on few days of pizza eating, gelato licking, illegal topless running, and the concert on Saturday night, our final day on Monday needed to be a complete day of rest. I woke up Monday morning with a hacking cough. I felt absolutely exhausted and knew that the only course of action was to spend as much time in and around our hotel pool as possible. I had really hoped to get out for one last run in the heat in Rome, but I felt that the long-term goal would be better served with a rest day. We flew home to the UK that evening, and following a horrible 2 hours stuck on the tarmac at Rome Airport, we finally made it home at 2:30 AM, which really wasn't the best start to the week. I've learned over the last year that sleep is pretty much the most important aspect of my training.
Did you sleep okay last night?
Great! I got a full 40 minutes.
And given that I'll be 44 next week, poor or shorter than ideal sleep takes a lot more out of me than it used to, and this week has proved it. Tuesday started a little later than normal with a 9:30 gym session. Even waking up for that following such a late bedtime was an absolute killer, but I got it done. I had the day off and I spent a lot of the day doing jobs around the house and locked in my office editing last week's video, so when I finally made it out for a run, it felt great. I took Coco out for a run in the evening. We did 5.6 miles up on the Quantox. We did a few hills that were incredibly steep, making it a really challenging run with a total elevation gain of 912 feet. My slowest mile was 11:59, the fastest was 8:57, with an average pace of 10:23 per mile. I was out in the Innovate trail shoes, which are really fun to run in. So despite the mountain-like climbs, I really loved this run. Now, you might notice on that pace slide there is a gap column. I thought I should explain that. This is something that Strava calculates grade adjusted pace. Gap estimates an equivalent pace when running on flat land, so allowing you to compare hilly and flat runs far more easily. Because running uphill requires extra effort, the gap will be faster than the actual pace run. Conversely, when running downhill, the gap will be slower than the actual pace. The adjustment becomes more significant as the grade steepens. So you can see on this run that while I was running very slowly, the equivalent pace on the flat was much more what I would expect. Wednesday started with my usual gym session, and I'm loving the new block of training at Watergate Studios. It's a lot of fun. From a training perspective, Everything clicked nicely on Wednesday. I managed a solid 6.5 mile run at 7:20 per mile. I had a very short window to run, so I went for speed to try and get as much done as I could. I listened to Eminem's latest album instead of my usual political podcast, which seemed to help boost my pace, though I would say the album is absolutely dreadful. My slowest mile was 8:17, the fastest was 6:58, average pace was 7:20 per mile. Thursday also started in the gym, making up for my missing Monday session. I got out for a run before dinner following a stressful day at work, and honestly it was a tough one. I ran 9.5 miles along the river, but the heat and the general tiredness made it hard. I wore my Nike Infinity Runs, and while the run felt gentle, my heart rate suggested otherwise. It was one of those just get it done runs. My slowest mile was 9:03 and the fastest was 7:59. It's worth saying that most of the time I'm far more interested in what my heart rate is doing than my pace. Heart rate is a great indicator of how easy I'm finding a run on any particular day, and on this day it was screaming, I'm struggling. At this point in the week I was officially halfway, given the rest day on Monday, so with only 21.5 of 55 miles covered, I knew there was going to be a reasonable amount of pressure on the second half of the week. Moving on to Friday, I plan to get 2 runs done to give the mileage a good boost. I'll be posting another video soon about the benefits of double run days, but for now, let's get back to run 1 of the day. After my 4th gym session of the week, I usually only do 3, so this was bonus material. I did a 6.43 mile run in the Infinity Runs. It was slow and it felt like hard work, reflecting my fatigue from the week. My slowest mile was 9:46 and the fastest was only 9:25. And sadly, my plan to get out for a second run was a total failure, as I had another crazily busy and stressful day at work. We had friends coming for dinner, so I finished up Friday at 27 miles, leaving a lot of work to do over the weekend.
Feel the need for speed.
The plan was simple though, 15 miles on Saturday and 13 on Sunday. How hard can that be? So I'll start off Saturday by showing you my body battery chart. My Garmin watch tracks all of my sleep, my heart rate, my stress levels across the week, and it's a really good indicator of how I'm doing and feeling, and when combined with my training readiness, it really does offer a second brain on what level of activity I should do. I woke up late on Saturday morning having slept a solid 11 hours and my body battery was still pretty drained. My training readiness was at an almost all-time low and I felt like crap. I figured I'd have some breakfast before heading out on my planned 15-mile run, but my body seriously had other ideas. I had some breakfast, then a spot of lunch, before napping for a full 2 hours on the sofa in front of the TV. It was at this point that I realised that my body was possibly trying to tell me something, and I took the executive decision to turn this day into a rest day, and by the time I got to bed in the evening, I had only done 1,600 steps. Historically, I have been terrible at resting, and last year I literally ran hundreds of days without taking a break, but I'm learning that it's important to rest and recharge when necessary, even if it means that hitting the mileage target gets harder. Sunday was literally a shit show. I woke up this morning with an upset tummy, and following several emergency runs to the toilet, followed by a couple of hours of anal ceasefire, I decided to venture out for a long run. I figured that while I couldn't realistically achieve 55 miles, I could try and get as many miles done as I could and see how I go. I had to make a couple of emergency code brown stops along the route, which was less than ideal.
No, Megan, no! Look away! Megan, no! Look away!
I'll have to record another video at some point about all of my poo sagas. Literally, I've shit myself more times running than I would care to count. Honestly, it was stupid to get out today, but despite the stomach cramps and the urge to vomit, I actually managed to run 13.5 miles at 7:37 per mile pace. My slowest mile was 8:05 and the fastest was 7:14. I was wearing my Saucony Endorphin Elites, and while my legs felt great, my stomach did not. However, I can take some positives from this run though. it was that I kept my heart rate in or around the 140 beats per minute mark. So that is a great indicator that I am in good shape and making progress from a running efficiency point of view. So the week ended up with 41 miles completed against my target of 55. And while I hate missing targets, I'm just going to have to trust the process and know that the rest will have done me some good. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. What's your go-to strategy for pushing through tough runs? And how do you cope when the plan goes off the rails? Drop your tips in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more updates. I'm off now for my 16th shit of the day. I'll see you in the next video, and happy running.